Hello everyone, my name is Pixlriffs and welcome back to the Minecraft Survival Guide. I hope you're all having a good day. In today's episode, we're going to step outside of our front door, but not before I've made myself a replacement shovel, because this thing is on its last legs. We need a lot more iron, and so we are going to go caving today. But that's not the only thing we're going to go caving for, because I have pledged that today we are going to find our first diamonds, which might be a bit of a tall order, but I think we're going to make it happen today because I think it's finally time to move away from just relying on iron tools and get something that's going to set us up for the foreseeable future. And for that, we're going to return to our spawn beach, and we are going to head this way, which I believe is west. I'm trying to get the feel of navigating by the world, but at least we have our starter house to come back to, and it's nice and easy to spot over there, so if we do get lost, we should hopefully stand a chance of returning. I have not been out across this ocean biome, which is a lovely kelp-filled ocean that has a couple of nice little drop-offs here and there. We're going to row across this kind of in a diagonal direction and see what's on the other side. I can already see some more forests, a couple of open plains biomes, and a couple of beaches on the opposite side that look set to welcome us as we approach. There's a bit of dark oak over here as well, and yeah, it looks like this entire thing is kind of encircled by land, which should be a kind of nice environment to build something a little bit bigger later on. No real surprises in here, though. I think the only shipwreck I was able to spot had ended up on land back on the beach that we explored the other day, so hopefully as we make land on the other side, we should find ourselves some kind of cave environment, and it looks like we can at least start with a ravine. We're looking for iron first and foremost, and then we're looking for a place that we can hop down into the lower regions of the world. And it looks like there's a nice easy waterfall to get us down here, so I'm going to hop right into that, and hopefully somewhere down here at the bottom of this ravine we should find some iron. There is at the very least a little bit of copper, so we can potentially grab that and bring it with us. In fact, there's quite a lot of copper down here, not quite what I was expecting. I might as well grab enough cobblestone that I can make a furnace while I'm out here as well, because we'll need to smelt up some of this, especially if we do find some iron. But alas, I'm not seeing a great deal of iron right now, just a little bit of coal and some copper. In fact, I'm going to pillar up and get that coal if we can, because chances are we will need it if we find a cave that goes further down into the world. Let's explore some of the winding cracks that have intersected with this ravine. Yep, that's looking promising, but I don't want to drop down there quite yet. Let's double back and check out this little cave entrance that was over here on the side of the rock. I spotted that from over there. Yeah, this looks like a little bit more of a gentle slope down into the caves in both directions. So let's head over here to our left, ignoring the copper as we go, because we will be getting plenty of that in due course. And yes, once again, it looks like there is a crack that leads down further into the world. I'm still not seeing a great deal of iron though, so hopefully as we progress further down in the world, we'll find a bit more of that. And in the meantime, we'll grab every piece of coal we can find. There we go, there's a little bit of iron down here. And in fact, this might be where we start relying on coordinates a little bit to see where exactly we are on the y-axis, because if we take a look right now, we're at y36, so we're about halfway from sea level to zero, maybe still a little bit higher, but this is where you start seeing iron in abundance, and once we get down to y16, that should be the level at which iron is most prominent in the lower regions of the world, so hopefully we'll start to encounter a bit more iron ore as we dig down here. And we'll follow this vein of iron down here because it looks like we've encountered another Lush cave, or perhaps even an extension of the Lush cave environment that we raided as part of our first trip into the dark oak forest. And it seems like to the left-hand side over here, this actually opens out into a much wider cavern. So I'm going to go right first, just so we have a slightly thinner passage to go down, and so we run the risk of running into fewer mobs. And it seems like this region of the world is already dipping into the deep slate layers, and that's very, very good news. In front of us, we have some lapis ore. We're going to mine that up, and that will give us some precious pieces of lapis lazuli, or lapis lazuli, depending on how you want to pronounce that. Lapis is very important to the game. It's part of the enchanting system, by which we'll be able to imbue our tools with a few extra powers, and it also breaks down into blue dye if you put it in the crafting interface, although there are also flowers that do that, so I'm thinking I'm going to save that for a little bit of enchanting later on. Hopping up into this little water pool that's part of the Lush cave, it looks like the cave heads back upwards. So you know what, we're going to double back and we're going to investigate that larger cavern we saw just a second ago. Now we can use a water bucket to get down here if we want to. I might place it on this block here, and it's going to break a couple of the plants in the area, but we can collect the water source as we go and just ride the water down. And that way we can make a safe descent in this cave without having to worry about taking fall damage. And now the waters have receded, we can take a look, and this cave is absolutely beautiful. I love these environments so much. The lush caves are gorgeous, and already I'm starting to see a few more precious materials popping up in the walls. This is our first introduction of deep slate ores, which were added in Minecraft 1.17. There's an axolotl there as well, which are native to these lush caves. We're going to grab the iron from these ores, and they work pretty much the same as the stone ores that you see further up in the world, but deep slate is a little bit harder to mine. So that means these ores are going to take a little bit longer to get hold of, and chances are the mobs could sneak up on us while we do that. So we need to keep our wits about us. In this environment though, in this lush cave, I think we are pretty safe, and we're going to ignore the axolotl playing in the water for now because I want to take things a little bit slowly when it comes to some of the other mobs in the world, but I'm sure we will come back here if we want to befriend an axolotl in the near future. We are here for resources though, we are here for caving, and one of the things I've noticed is that there is redstone ore right here. It's deep slate redstone, and there's only a little bit of it, but once we get down to these levels of the world, you'll also start finding things like redstone and even diamonds if we're lucky. Once again, I'm going to explore upwards in the cave first. I always like to make sure that my back is covered before heading downwards. Once again, just so any mobs that pop up are potentially limited from spawning. If we put some torches around here, we shouldn't have to worry about any creepers creeping up on us. And once again, there's a little bit more coal and a little bit more iron that I'm going to grab before I make my way further down into the caves. Okay, that little alcove is all mined out. I'm going to mine this iron as well quickly, and I think before we move on, we're going to smelt some of it so that I have easy access to another iron pickaxe and maybe a couple more iron reserves in case we need them for anything else. So we'll quickly set up a new furnace here. We're going to smelt as much of this iron as we care to because we've already got some iron ingots in the inventory. They'll just stack with those. And while that's smelting, I'm going to snack on a cooked pork chop. Luckily, I brought a bunch of bread with me from our wheat field, so I'll have plenty of that to eat. And we'll take a look a little further down into this cave, but taking note of where the furnace and the crafting table are so that we know where to find those later. There is a little bit more iron up here in the walls, which I'm going to ignore for now because we have enough of it smelting over there. A bit of deep slate copper, which is one of my favorite blocks actually. It always looks really nice. And as we descend into the world, this lush cave opens out into a much more sprawling cavern. And I think it is this kind of environment where we can expect to find our first diamonds. We're also finding some of our first gold. There is some deep slate gold up here. Let's see if we can pillar up and mine that really quick. That's going to drop some raw gold in much the same way that raw iron drops. We'll need to smelt that in a furnace to get an ingot of gold. It looks like there's a nice tidy vein of it here though, so we're going to grab as much of that as we can. Might as well take the iron while we're here. We always need a lot of iron in the early stages of a world, so it makes sense to grab a little bit of it as we go. And before we set foot into this cavern, I'm going to quickly run around while there aren't too many mobs spawning, and we're going to light the area up. I can see a skeleton patrolling over there, so I'm going to step back a little way, make sure there are a couple of torches around the entrance here so that we don't encounter mobs as soon as we make our way back through, and we're going to run back to the furnace so we can pick up the iron I had smelting. Now I've run back to the furnace and I can hear a slime somewhere around here, and I'm wondering where that is. The spore blossom particles floating through the air are kind of misleading me, because sometimes if there is a slime in the area, it will actually leave some dripping green particles if you're standing underneath a block. I think the slime is underneath us right now. And yes, I was right. There it is, down here in what looks like another offshoot of the Lush Cave. So we're going to very quickly hop down here so that we can deal with this slime. Honestly, a slime is worth investigating whenever you hear one, because slime is quite a rare thing to find, and it's quite a rare resource if you're able to gather some slime balls from a slime like this. So we're going to have our shield at the ready in case we take a couple of hits. We're going to swipe at the slime when it's not jumping at us, and then once it breaks down into these smaller slimes, we can dispatch those and we'll get hold of some slime balls, from which we got 4 from those little divided up slimes. Slimes have kind of 3 stages. That was a large slime. We ended up breaking it down into some medium slimes, and then the small slimes are the ones that actually get killed for experience and slime balls. And over here on this side of the cave, I've spotted something very interesting. It looks like there is an abandoned mine shaft down here, which could be really cool to explore in the next episode. But for right now, I'm going to ignore that because I still want to go and explore the cave that we saw originally. I don't want to get too sidetracked, and abandoned mine shafts have some of their own unique things that could be a little dangerous for us if we're not prepared for them. So I'm going to pick up the rest of the iron that I had smelting here in the furnace. I'm probably going to hold off on making myself another pickaxe for now, but we might need to make one as we explore this cave. Let's go back to that large cavern and take a look at what we can find over there. And you'll have to excuse me if my camera jerks around a little bit while we're exploring here, because I need to keep my head on a swivel a little bit. That is one of the habits I have developed to stop myself getting snuck up on by creepers. Since they don't really make much noise aside from very quiet footsteps, it is very easy to have a creeper sneak up behind you and blow you up in a cave like this. So I'm trying to keep my wits about me, and that might lead to me making some sudden moves. So sorry about that, it's just a force of habit at this point. Now just over there on the wall, I've spotted our first diamonds, and this is typically where you're going to be finding your first diamonds in this most recent Minecraft update. We've got a couple of mobs to fight before we get there though, a couple of spiders and zombies, which are just routine encounters at this point. We don't need to worry too much about them, and I'm going to light my way over to these diamonds so we don't get too much stuff sneaking up on us while we mine them. Diamonds are found more commonly in the lower regions of the world, and right now here in this Deepslate cavern, the lower we go, the more chance we have of finding diamonds. But there we go, we've mined our first diamond of the Minecraft survival guide, and check it out. If we mine into the wall a little bit more, we find a couple more diamond ore nestling in the walls. Whenever you find diamonds, it's quite important to mine out the blocks around them if you have time, simply so that you can uncover any veins of diamond that were lurking further into the walls that were just covered up by a block at a diagonal. And that means we've got our first 3 diamonds of the series. I'm going to pop those down into a crafting table, and we are going to make our first diamond pickaxe. That comes just in time to potentially replace the iron pickaxe, although I might wear this one out because there's plenty of stuff we can still mine with it. Make sure you mine diamonds with an iron pickaxe though, because without an iron pickaxe, the diamond ore will simply break. The iron pickaxe is the only thing strong enough to extract those diamonds until you get yourself a diamond pickaxe, or even a netherite pickaxe later, but we'll get onto netherite in a future episode. Now this enormous cavern branches off into a variety of directions, and I'm keeping an eye on the upper reaches of the cavern because, as you can see up there, just to the left of our crosshair, a creeper is waiting to find a player to drop down onto, and I find that any environments like this, you kind of need to watch your back a little bit and watch the room above you just in case a creeper drops down on you from above. If a creeper gets the drop on you, it can explode without you really having time to react, so it's often a good idea to keep an eye on those dark spaces while you're navigating a cavern like this. We have already run out of torches though, and it looks like I'll need to make a few more thanks to the coal that I have brought with me, because these areas are huge and they do need lighting up, especially if we want to spot all of the resources that are tucked away into the ceiling here. The problem with this cavern layer though is that coal does not generate this far down, so a lot of the time you will either want to bring a lot of coal with you, or bring some logs that you can turn into charcoal using a furnace. Even bring some trees with you that you can grow in order to make some more logs that you can turn into some coal, just so you can make some more torches. Basically, once you get this far down in the world, it is all about preparation, and in some cases, you might want to stick to lighter environments like Lush caves, where the glowberries will do the illumination for you, and you can just worry about claiming the resources. You'll also find there is a greater chance of lava the further down into the world that you go, and lava can be a double-edged sword. Obviously, it's lighting up the environment with a nice warm glow around here, but you need to be careful not to stumble into the lava because you're going to take a lot of damage and potentially die. Not to mention, lava is a destructive force. If I throw a couple of things in there, those items are gone for good. So it's important to make sure you don't do that with anything you don't need. In this case, the zombie flesh is something I'm going to throw away for an example, but I might even save some of that for later because there is going to be stuff we can do with zombie flesh further down the line. A couple more creeper encounters in this neighboring cave, and at this point, I'm not really exploring the caves in a super systematic way. These cave environments get very organic and winding, and that's the way I prefer to explore, but I'm always leaving torches behind me as I go, so I'm not going to double back and explore the same area twice. We have a little bit more redstone ore that I'll gather while I'm here, and it looks like this might be the last few blocks we mine with our iron pickaxe. Redstone dust is going to be really useful to us later on, because redstone is effectively like electrical wiring in Minecraft. It's the thing that allows us to power mechanisms and make circuits and that kind of thing. And for right now, since we're getting a lot of it in our inventory, we could use a crafting table to compact it down into entire blocks. While that's not going to save us any inventory space right now, once we start to get multiple stacks of redstone dust, that will definitely start to save us some space. And we might consider doing that with things like copper, gold, lapis, and raw iron once we start to acquire a little bit more of that. There goes our iron pickaxe. It's time to switch to the diamond one, and this cave goes winding on into the depths. Even more redstone ore here in the walls, and a couple of tight spaces to squeeze through, but if we cover every inch of this cave, then we can be guaranteed that we'll have got the most resources we can out of it. Once you have a more durable pickaxe like this diamond pickaxe, which has over 1500 durability, it's about 6 times the amount of durability that an iron pickaxe has, you might also want to consider starting a branch mine. Once we get down into the lower levels of the world, digging into the wall and branching out in different directions, uncovering some blocks that aren't part of a cave, can be an effective way of getting resources. And we'll cover branch mining in more detail a little bit later on. For now, though, I'm going to stick to caving, because a lot of the time covering a wider area through caving is going to be an effective way of finding the resources we're looking for. The advantage to branch mining, though, is that it's a little bit safer, because if you're digging the tunnels yourself, you don't have to worry as much about monsters spawning in them. Whatever strategy you choose, the most important thing is to make sure you have torches to light your way. And if we hop down into here, there's another little offshoot of this cave that will take us further down into the world through this patch of tuff, which is a rock all around us that doesn't have much in the way of interesting properties, but can be kind of nice to build with. There's a little bit of lava lighting the end of the cavern here, but I think we might have come back around to a lava flow I saw a little bit earlier. And for right now, we can kind of think of the supply of torches as like a timer on our caving expedition here. Once we have run out of torches, that'll be it. We'll have to make our way back up to the surface, or at least to the layers of the world which generate coal, so that we can grab a little bit more. And before that happens, I would like to acquire a few more diamonds, so I'm going to be following those stretches of the cave which go lower down into the world. Once we end up in the layers of the world that are completely surrounded by deep slate, we are in the negative coordinates on the y-axis. If we dig down into the floor a little bit from the bottom of that cave, which seemed to be at about y-50, we're still going to find a few resources buried here in the earth. In fact, this might be the region at which you have the most chance of finding diamonds, statistically speaking. We're encountering a bit of gold and redstone ore here, but as we go down a little bit further, we're going to start encountering blocks we cannot mine. Right here, that is bedrock, and no amount of mining with any type of tool is going to break this easily. In fact, I believe bedrock can be broken over time, but it takes a matter of days mining in order to break one, so it's not the kind of thing that we are supposed to break in survival Minecraft, and chances are since that was last done, it's been made even more invulnerable. But while we're not supposed to break bedrock, hold that thought. We may end up coming back to that in a future episode of the series. Coming back up to this waterfall, I have just mysteriously picked up some glow ink, so that means a glow squid must have spawned down here somewhere. Not to worry, but at least we've got that in our inventory now, so that we can... Oh, yep, there's a little bit more lying on the ground here. Maybe we can do something with that a little later as well. I'm hearing another slime that spawned over here, and I can't help myself. I kind of need to go and attack this slime, because, frankly, slimes are rare enough that it's going to be worth killing these while they're here. And this one's divided into 4. Oh my goodness, there's so much opportunity for slime balls. Once slimes get down to their smallest stage, though, they can't actually hurt you. But with our sword sweep attack, we can attack a whole bunch of them at once, which leaves us carrying a whole lot of slime balls, actually. That's 19? Not bad. We have a whole heap of redstone in our inventory now, and it looks like that could do with condensing down into blocks. Perfect. It came to a multiple of 9, which means they could all stack into one inventory space, and there's no leftover redstone dust. Awesome though it has been exploring this little offshoot of the cave, I think we're going to have more luck with diamonds if we go back out to that broader cavern layer. And so I'm going to try and follow the torches on the right to make my way out of here. And there we go, the entrance was right there, and we can make our way through the rest of this level and hopefully encounter some diamonds as we do. When it comes to looking for diamonds specifically, in the early days, I think open cave environments like this are going to provide your best shot, because it is the most amount of exposed blocks you'll be able to see, and so the sheer surface area out here is probably what's going to mean the diamonds generate exposed to the open air. It looks like we have a zombified villager over here as well, and this is just basically a regular zombie for now. We're not going to be able to do much with it, although in future we might end up curing some zombie villagers so that we can start trading with real villagers. And it looks like at the end of this cavern, by the waterfall there, we've spotted our second vein of diamonds. There is actually a little cave below us which we might want to explore, and I'm going to light up this shelf of rock here a little better so we don't end up with other mobs spawning up there. Let's grab these diamonds though. We've got 1, we've got 2, we don't even have space for them in our inventory right now, but I can chuck out the rotten flesh. Let's quickly mine around here just to make sure there aren't any other diamonds hiding behind these other blocks. No diagonal veins today, doesn't look like it. Oh well, we got what we came for. We have a diamond pickaxe and we have 2 extra diamonds, because I think in an upcoming episode, we are going to look at enchanting, and I think getting the resources for that now is going to be pretty much ideal. So we can hop down into this cavern space and see what else is down here. I was lured down here by the gold ore, and blocking the way in this little cave, almost indistinguishable from the rock around it, we have a patch of smooth basalt. And this is going to be very special because this will open out into a geode. Let's break the blocks here very carefully though, because geodes are hollow and dark environments a lot of the time, and it seems like mobs could be hiding in here if we aren't very, very careful. Nope, looks like we're in the clear. Okay, and there's some diamonds right there as well. Fantastic. Well, let's take a look at this, because this is an amethyst geode, an environment filled with crystals and blocks of amethyst and calcite and smooth basalt around the outside. If you spot a block that has a slightly different texture as you are caving, then chances are you might have stumbled upon a geode. This environment is full of beautiful blocks that make a lovely tinkling sound as you walk around on them, and crystals that, once we find the largest of them, we can break down for amethyst shards, which I might actually chuck out maybe some of the gunpowder or the spider eyes or something like that, so I can pick up some of these shards. We'll talk about what we're going to do with those a little bit later. For now, we're going to grab the diamonds that I saw in the walls. There are only a couple more here, but that has got us to 25 levels on my XP bar, and we have 4 diamonds to take home. And digging around proved even more fruitful, because there is 1 more diamond ore hiding in the wall there. Looks like that'll probably be it for us though, so we have 5 diamonds to return home with, and I think that's probably going to do for now. While I would love to stick around and push our luck and see how many more diamonds we could get, I think there is a way we can spend our time a little bit more wisely. And I'm going to throw out the iron shovel here, the old iron shovel, because I've got another one on me, and we can pick up some of the blocks from the geode here. We're going to bring home the amethyst, the calcite, and the smooth basalt, along with the amethyst shards, and we're going to make our way out of this cave. But on the way, we're going to be looking around for larger patches of lava. You will occasionally find these lava falls flowing down into caves, and if we pour a bucket of water on the flowing lava, wherever the water and the lava touch, they will start to produce cobblestone. But in much the same way as water, lava has source blocks, and if I dump my bucket of water in a hole in the ground here, I can actually collect the source of the lava for both an advancement and also a bucket of lava that I can place anywhere I want to. Where I'm going to place it right now, though, is next to the water I just put down, because it turns it into obsidian. A lava source will turn into obsidian on contact with water, And obsidian is a material that we can only break with a diamond pickaxe or better. The better diamond pickaxe being a netherite pickaxe. Once the obsidian breaks, it drops as an item. We can collect it if I throw out something from my inventory. Are we going to throw out the glow berries? I don't really want to, but I do have some already. And we're going to get the ice bucket challenge advancement for picking up our first block of obsidian. In order to make an enchanting table, which is probably the next step in our progression once we've found some diamonds, we're going to need 4 blocks of obsidian. So we will either need to find 4 more lava sources, or 3 more lava sources since we've already got 1 block of obsidian, or we'll need to find a lava lake, which can occur down here and will often provide a pretty hefty amount of lava. Even though our hunt for diamonds is over, I'm still going to be gathering a bunch of the precious resources as I find them in this cave, because having an excess supply of lapis is always a really good idea in the early days. We can condense that down into blocks of lapis if we start to get a little bit too much of it, and who knows if we'll return to this cave or if we'll find a completely different cave to explore next time, or even explore this same cave in different directions, because there are lush caves further that way that look like they promise a lot more resources as well as a lot more mobs. I can see another lava flow in the distance here though, so I'm going to run towards that and see if we can steal the lava source as a block of obsidian. Looks like it's coming out from the rock here. Yes, there we go. That's another block of obsidian to add to our collection. And looking at the amount of zombies that are running towards me, including this baby zombie, I think we'd better make a hasty retreat from this cave and go and find lava somewhere a little bit safer. Yep, there are lots of creepers around here as well. I really don't fancy it. I think we need to return to our entrance, the lush cave over here, and there is the glow squid that we ended up collecting some glow ink from, because unfortunately these things will find themselves getting beached in these caves where they've generated in a waterfall, and they flow down into here where they end up suffocating on dry land. So we can take advantage of that by grabbing the glow ink, but there's not a whole lot else we can do for them, unfortunately. Here we are back in the lush cave that we found our entrance in. If I switch on the coordinates right now, you can see we are at -2 on the y-axis, and that is where the stone layers of the world start blending down into the darker, more cavernous, deep slate layers of the world. So chances are, once you find yourself seeing the join between these two and seeing the deep slate start to take over, below that is going to be your best chance of finding diamonds. Our final challenge here is to find our way out of the cave, and I think it looks like, judging by where I left the torches, we need to get back up there. So I'm going to pillar up using some of the cobblestone that we've gathered, and we can hop our way out through this fissure in the earth, following the torches on our way back until we make our way to the surface. Oh, and it's nice to see the sky again. Mission accomplished, mostly. We do still need to get hold of a couple more blocks of lava, but like I said, I think I know where I can find them. We can pop down our boat and go rowing across the ocean, where it's nice and easy to spot our starter house in the distance, and looking out from our porch as the sun sets, I can see 2 sources of lava that I'm going to turn into obsidian. I have had my eye on these for a little while. They just look so out of place over here, and so I think it's probably for the best if we get rid of them and make the area feel a little bit more natural without these giant lava sources spilling lava out from the wall. Getting to them is going to be a little bit risky because, of course, we don't want to fall in the lava, but we'll keep a bucket of water handy. I should have really dropped off some of these resources at home, but never mind that now. We're going to get up onto the wall of this hill. We're going to bridge over to them very carefully. I'm going to break out the block above, and we're going to place the bucket of water right there. Pick it up right away, and the lava source has been turned into obsidian, ready for us to collect. We'll do the same thing on this side here, turning that one into obsidian as well. The lava will harmlessly flow away and disappear, and it leaves behind a little ridge of stone. We'll explore more of the interactions between lava and water later on in the series, because lava can generate stone, cobblestone, and obsidian, so it's a really interesting resource when combined with water. And now we've got the 4 obsidian we need, and there is one more ingredient we will need to complete our enchanting table, but that's something we'll deal with another time, potentially in the next episode. Because I think after a successful caving trip, that's going to be it for this episode of the Minecraft Survival Guide. Folks, I do hope you've enjoyed going caving with me, and good luck if you head out there into the caves yourself. Thanks again for watching. My name has been Pixlriffs. Don't forget to leave a like on this video if you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you want to see more, and I'll see you guys soon. Take care. Bye for now.